Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following video may contain images and voices of people who have passed away.
Some Aboriginal children are incredibly resilient. They have the ability to bounce back after repeated stresses and to keep smiling under chronic stress. The schools can support this in a number of ways within school support and to also refer families on to external agencies. It's important to remember that even though the child may keep smiling, that they're under chronic stress and the school needs to be responsive to the child and the family's needs.
Some of the risk factors that stop our students from being successful, from getting an education, are quite complex. Families their families have already got issues themselves around a number of different influences that don't help them to settle well. So the things that could be around housing, it could be around nutrition, it could be around health. We have drugs, abuse, there's domestic violence, there's housing and such and their health that often influences the way that they think about whether they can be successful or not, or whether they can be a proud person and that sense of identity.
The parents expect that the staff will be aware of what's going on for the kids. So if there is something that's been happening, say for example someone's passed away, they expect that we will be looking out for how they're going and how they're feeling and immediately kind of tell them, let them know. Parents also expect that we will let them know when their kids have been in trouble straight away. Usually a kid's in trouble because they're not feeling good, or there's something that's been happening, or there's something happening out in the community. I think it's really important because the school and the community in remote schools are so interlaced that what happens at school affects what happens in the community, and what happens in the community affects what happens at school. So communication between parents and staff are vital.
Well, it's important not to make assumptions because each family is unique, and those families that are suffering from chronic stress or trauma may not have the same routines as a family who is not. For instance, the child may not have had a good night's sleep, may not have had breakfast in the morning, and may actually not have a consistent routine for feeding, sleeping, eating as a traumatic family. That needs to be taken into account when supporting children, as their needs might be slightly different and the school needs to tailor its support to that family, whether it might be a breakfast program or it might be providing extra support to the parents so that they can get into a consistent routine. It might be a quick chat between the families, and the liaison officer might get involved in trying to establish a routine so that the child can come to school ready for the day.
When we identify a child that we feel may have some problems, whether they're coming to school frequently upset or disengaging, then our first reaction is, okay, what is causing this? Why the change in them, or what have you? And I guess definitely that would start with alarm bells on, and you start discussing with people in the school about what approach you should take. You may talk to admin or the health and wellbeing team. We have a response to intervention committee as well, where you can refer them to that, and then they work out what area they think they might need to look at for the child.
If we've noticed something about our kids being down, and whether it's it's not just a learning, if it's not a learning disability, or it is like they're struggling at school, they're angry, they're coming to school angry, overtired and all that, we do ask first if they're okay, if everything's all right, you know. Tucker does do a follow-up back home and like check make sure everything's back home right, you know, if there could have been a death in the family and we didn't even know about it, and the kids bringing it to school feeling hurt, sad and tired, you know, something else could be happening at home. And if it's ongoing, like we do have a visit from a school site to come out.
Well, the Kids Matter training is really helpful in identifying where students might be having a problem and then what the next steps should be. So involving other agencies and people that can provide support that I can't provide and is not my place to provide. So just knowing what to do next with these students, you know, in what they need, basically.
So if I recognise a child that has an issue, I'll try and talk to them first about it, especially if I've got a rapport with that child and they will talk to me about it. And I will sense from what they're saying to me whether it's a topic that can be talked about or not. And then it helps me to figure out how to approach the parent about the child's issue or well-being. And I try to always approach these issues from how can I help?
What we're trying to do here is we're trying to put enough strategies in place that promote positive mental health across the board, so that we have more young people experiencing success, so that we can really get on with the hard business, which is actually helping those that are at the extreme end of need. The more people we've got that we're being proactive about their mental health means that we can dedicate more time, more strategic time, to helping those that are really truly in need on the mental health continuum. So it frees up the administration, the support providers, the school psychologists to do the kind of interventions and interagency work that some people do require.
It's really important for schools to be proactive in attending to children that may be at risk for mental health difficulties or may have suffered some trauma. They need a referral process, a professional development for their staff to be able to detect these signs and symptoms, and the Kids Matter framework is a fantastic way of preventing these issues becoming long-term problems for children and their families.